Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce, and you're probably wondering why I have the Deuce and a half battery box here in the bunker. Let me zoom you guys in too a little bit. Well, I had a tree fall on the old homestead, and I decided what a great opportunity to make some videos of me actually utilizing the Deuce and a half for actual work. I thought that'd be a great thing to do. I was going to use the winch, and I was going to use the box in the back of the Deuce to, clean up all the debris. It'd be great. But unfortunately, here's what happened when I tried to go down and start the Deuce for the first time since probably March or April.
You don't have enough to start it. Not even close.
As you have seen, my Deuce and a half has two civilian batteries. I mean, they're big mamma jammas, but they're still normal civilian batteries that you would get from Napa, Advanced Auto, AutoZone, what have you. There are two normal batteries. These are not what the military uses. The military uses a battery called 6TL, that's 6 Tango Lima battery. And they are big, huge beasts. They're overgrown. They fill this battery box completely full. And they're very heavy duty. They're high cranking amps. They're usually over 1,000 cranking amps. So you got two of those, that's very good. These are only 850, which is a lot of cranking amps for a civilian style vehicle. Deuce and a half really utilizes every single bit of these amps. They're very rugged. They can withstand extreme temperatures. But for average Joes like you and me who's driving around their Deuce and a half for parade use, for farm use, just for fun, for off-roading or what have you, they are overkill and a waste of money. Get yourself two normal big batteries, and I'll tell you which batteries to get here in a second. But just normal two batteries and you are good to go. Here's a nice top-down view of the battery box, and you can see it is not pretty down there. It is pretty ugly. And these are pretty much the largest size batteries that will fit into this particular battery box. There are two different types of battery boxes that you can find in a Deuce and a half. Number one is the plastic one. This is plastic. They also have a metal one, which I'll talk about later. The plastic one, the largest group size batteries that you can fit is either a 65, these are group 65 batteries, or a group 27 battery. So these are group 65, and the group 27 batteries are all about a foot in length. There is a group 31 that is 13 inches in length. If you get a group 31, it will not fit the plastic battery box. It will, just barely, but it will fit the metal battery box. So why does the Deuce and a half have two separate batteries? Well, because the Deuce and a half is a 24 volt system. It uses 24 volts for all the electronics inside, including the starter and lights and everything is 24 volt. Two batteries is not always an indicator of a 24 volt system. Actually, usually it's not. My F250 also has two big old batteries like this, but it's still a 12 volt system, not a 24 volt system. It just uses the extra oomph, the extra battery power to burn the glow plugs and get started, because it takes a lot of power to heat up those glow plugs. Let me show you what's down inside this battery box here. To elevate the civilian sized batteries, which aren't nearly as tall as the 6TLs, I have a 2x10 down here, and looks like a rat's nest as well. Now normally you'd have these tie downs here, and these would go ahead and go on a bracket that held the 6TLs down. We got ourselves a June bug down here. Now let's talk about this battery box, because I'm pretty sure I can do something a little bit better than this. Unfortunately, I put both of the batteries on the charger and both of them failed. Both of them are kaput. The good battery had a voltage level out at about 11.5 volts, so it's just plumb wore out. The bad battery is good, except it's dropped a cell. One cell is gone, so it can only charge up to 10.5 volts, and that's it. Neither of those are acceptable for a Deuce and a half. So I've got to replace these batteries. I know for a fact what kind of batteries goes in a Deuce and a half, what batteries will be best for the Deuce and a half. But they are pricey. To get something that can handle that kind of torture, that kind of environment, it takes buku bucks. And I can pay that, but I'm going to see how cheap of a battery can I get away with in a Deuce and a half. Let's find that out. Welcome to Rural King, home of the cheap batteries. Brown layers. $60. I'll take two. Let's compare these two batteries now. We have the old one that I've had in a Deuce and a half for 4 years, and the new one is going in there right now. It's a Super Start, which I bought at Napa on a snowy day in an emergency situation where Napa was the only thing open. So I did not have many choices. This one battery cost me $150. 0 degree cold cranking amps of 850. Now we have the Rural King store brand, which is made by Exide, and it's also a Series 65, Group 65 right there. This has a 0 degree Fahrenheit cold cranking amps of 750 with a 32 degree Fahrenheit cold cranking amps of 840. That is plenty strong enough to start a Deuce and a half, especially when you multiply that by 2. Now I bought 2 of these, and if these last for 2 years, I'm ahead of the game. Vibration kills these batteries, and a Deuce and a half does nothing but vibrate the bejesus out of these things. We now have our zip ties in there. Everything is secure. They hold 75 pounds apiece. Somehow, if I end up tipping over the Deuce and a half, these batteries aren't going to go anywhere, which is perfect. But if I need to get to the battery, if there's a situation where I need to get to the battery and all I have is my Leatherman, then all I have to do is and I can get that with no tools other than a knife. And that's what I'm looking to do here. Also, all these changes can be completely reversed. Now let's go on down to the farm and see if I can get that old girl started. Already, that looks so much better than it did before. Perfect. Here's a feature I did not mention to you in the bunker. Let me show you real quick. I have new terminals right here on these posts and wing nuts. These are attached by wing nuts now. So all I got to do is just throw the jumper on there and use my hands to tighten it down. No tools required other than my grubby mitts here. And a quick check with the fluke here. We're going to verify 24 volts. Man, I hope I got 24 volts on this. 25. Oh, yeah, baby. That should get her started. Last week, I already did the whole fluid check and everything, so I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to start her up and hopefully she turns over. Engine stop. We're going to check for hydrolock, of course. The Deuce and a half has been sitting since March. It is January now. You cannot beat this truck with a stick. Oh, listen to that. Well, guys, we are way past sunset now. As you can see, it's getting pretty dim outside. So we're going to call it today. I did get the fluids checked. The tires are all pumped up. We are ready to go for the Deuce and a half's next adventures, which of course I will bring you guys along, so stay tuned for that. If you have any comments, questions, or show ideas, leave that in the comment box of the video. I try to get as many of those as possible. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the like button because that really helps out the channel. As always, you guys have a great day. See ya.